Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at 3 cheat codes to become successful in school. So if you want to win in school, this is definitely a video to watch. Now, the first cheat code that you need to become successful in school is that you need to be organized. Now, what do we mean by being organized? One, you're going to have a planner. Now, what do we mean by a planner? A planner, you're gonna write down the dates of each project, classwork, homework, and the list goes on and on. So, for example, you have a due date 2-3 weeks from now. It's very much important that you write down these dates so you don't become flustered. Sometimes you have students doing 18, 19 subjects in one school term. So it's important that you have a planner. In the planner, you're going to write down the dates for each project. In being organized, some of the contents that they had 10 years ago in school, each teacher is given what we call a curriculum. And what do we mean by a course outline or curriculum? Now, these are basically guidelines that help teachers to teach content and obtain certain objectives as it relates to certain topics. Now, back in the days in high school, when I realized that, I think it was at a presentation, right, that someone spoke about downloading or getting the curriculum yourself. So I highly recommend, right, for you, a part of being organized, right, you can get the curriculum yourself. So it's present on the internet. You go onto the internet, you download the curriculum, right? And what you're gonna do, you're gonna go through the curriculum. So for example, if the teacher is teaching states of matter under the topic states of matter, there are certain objectives that the teacher obtain. Because remember, at the end of the school term, right, you're gonna be given an assessment, whether it be tests, right, whether it be a project, stuff like that. So once you get the curriculum, right, when I read through the curriculum, right, you're gonna see the objectives that the teacher must obtain, right? So each teacher normally set out to obtain these objectives while they're teaching, right? So for example, staying along the same line of states of matter. So at the end of the day, when you get an exam, it's going to be along the line of the objectives that was written on the curriculum. So it is the same thing in college, right? You want to ensure that you get the course outline, you read through the course outline, every single thing that is present in the course outline, right? Majority of the time, the exam is based on every single thing that is written in the course outline or in the curriculum. So the second thing that you also the second cheat code that you definitely need to become successful, the second cheat code, you need to be selective with your circle. Now, what do we mean by this? There's a famous saying that you're successful, or you're going to become successful as the 5 persons you spend most of your time with. So you have to be selective with your circle, and we're talking, when we say your circle, we're talking about your friends. In life, it's all about value, and if it is that you're not bringing anything to the table, or your so-called friends are not bringing anything to the table that can help you, it doesn't make any sense. That is like fighting a losing battle. So say for example, you're in school now, right, and you didn't get the chance to get some notes, or for example, you don't understand a topic. You have a friend circle where you have a circle that you can form, where your friends can help you to basically understand a topic. Now, if you have friends that are in your circle and they're not helping you to obtain a particular objective, or you all are not working towards the objective, it doesn't make any sense. The next cheat code that you want to, or that you should know, let's go to our next page. The sticky note. The next cheat code: don't be afraid of failure. Now, what do we mean by this? Many other times when we're in school, we're afraid to get that low marks. Sometimes we beat down on ourselves. And that happened to me back in the day in school, right? Failed a particular subject in sitting my final exam, right? And I was beating down on myself, right? Because I was afraid of failure. Now, there's a popular saying that the race is not for the swift. So the race is not for the swift, but those who can endure it. Now, what do we mean by this? Not because you're in school or you're in a classroom or you're not getting the A's or you're not getting the A plus. That doesn't necessarily mean that will be your final destination. What you need to focus on is improving. For example, you got 50 out of 100. All right. So for example, you got 20 out of 100. That's 20%. You can't stick. The idea is that if you get the 20 out of 100, you need to focus on improving. So the next objective that you need to focus on, you need to write down. Write down your mistakes. Write down your mistakes. Your mistakes. So the thing that helped, the thing or the things, right, that helped you to fail, right? You have to write it down. Write it down on paper. So it's important to write it down on paper. So for example, when you write it down on the paper, you have something visual to look at every single day that you wake up. This is what I'm going for. This is what I need to do in the next 3 months, in the next 4 months, in the next 5 months, or the next 3 to 4 tests that you're going to do in the subject that you fail. Write down the mistakes. When you write down the mistakes, now you have to focus on improving. Improving. And a part of improving, you have to think about the things that you're going to do differently. Right? So say for example, what I'm going to do differently now to get even get 20.1% the next time, improving. So do I need to get a mentor? A mentor is someone who is going to guide you. And again, that's where your circle comes in. So you form a circle where even somebody in the circle can become smarter than you. Nothing is wrong. Nothing. Someone in the circle can be smarter than you. Nothing wrong with that. You see me? So you get a mentor. When you get a mentor now, right? You allow that person to guide you, right? That's one. Get a mentor. Secondly, ask questions. Nothing is wrong with asking questions. That's how you learn. That's how you get knowledge. So if the teacher is teaching something and you don't get it, don't allow the teacher to move on. Ask questions. No matter who want to become upset, it doesn't matter who want to make a bag of noise in a classroom and talk about you ask be a question really. Zine? Now, the next thing that you want to do as well, you want to ensure that the mistakes that you made, you're not going to make the same mistakes, because that is near to insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over and expect to get a different result. Obviously, you're going to get the same results. If you're making the same mistakes, you're going to get the same results. Good. That's the third cheat code. Now I'm going to give you a bonus. Now the bonus, and I would say this is the best of the four cheat codes that I'm giving. You have to find a why. Why? What do I mean by that? A why is something that is larger than life. Now, what do I mean larger than life? Your why should be larger than life. No, your why is something that is going to keep you going, what keeps you motivated, keeps you going, keeps you motivated. Now, it could be something as simple as, you want to ensure that You want to ensure that you become a better version of yourself in the future. Stuff like that, right? You want to ensure that your mommy and daddy live to witness that you become a better person, or you just want to change your lifestyle. So your why must be larger than life. It must be bigger than you. It must be larger than you. Once it's larger than you, the reason why I'm saying it should be larger than you is because if it is that you have something that if your why is not as large or bigger than you, then you're not gonna be motivated. Many of the times, your why should be larger than you because you want to keep going. It keep pushes you to become somebody greater or become a better version of yourself. So you have to find a why. Your why could be something as simple as you want to see your parents smile. In closing, these are the 3 or 4 key codes that you definitely need to become successful. So 1, you need to ensure that you become organized. And what do we mean by becoming organized? Right? You ensure that you download the course outline, right? You also ensure that you download the curriculum if it is that you're in high school. And secondly, you also want to ensure that you have a good friend, you have a good circle, right? So in terms of your friends should be able to help you to become a better version of yourself. And then the third one, don't be afraid to fail, right? Experience comes from failure. So it's all about the lessons that you're going to learn from the failure, right? And then the bonus, you want to get a why, and your why should be larger than life. Your why should keep you going. So if you're at the end of the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to check out the video that you're seeing on the top right of your screen. Remember, if you need a free worksheet or you need a free study guide, don't forget to check out the link in the description. And also, if it is that you want customized study guides, customized worksheets, right, to become successful in school or to become successful in any subject, don't forget to reach out to us as well.